Yo, what is up? This is DPS podcast episode number 8. I'm here with Mr. Gaming Forte, the Destiny aficionado. Destiny. He's a Destiny guy, and he's a gamer, and we're gamers, and we're gonna have some fun. So let's get into it, man. Let's say what's up to some of these people here in the chat. Eagles fan 76 was good. Replicant was good, man. Punkish got Punkish Gaming in the chat. Here we go. No, SloMo's not having technical problems. Okay.
Okay, never mind.
Hustle, what's up? Hustle Motivate in the house. What's going on, Forte? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Where's the hate at for Destiny, man? I like you better the other way.
You like it when I hate on Destiny?
Yes, because it's funnier. Because when you try to be nice to the game, it just comes off as disingenuous and fraud.
It is disingenuous because that game doesn't deserve it. But I'm trying to be nice. I've turned over a new leaf.
What, is it because of daylight savings time coming up this weekend or something? Is that what it's about? What is the leaves getting to you? The coloring, the change of the season.
No,
what's really going on?
No, I mean, I'm being nice today. I'm a nice guy today. That's what I'm doing today. It's it's been a long day. I've been working hard because I'm a hard worker. That's what I do. I made a video. I'm out here.
Yeah, great video too.
Thank you.
Good video.
I really feel like let me stop capping. I really didn't work as much as I would have liked to. I got really, really like deep into looking at CPU coolers for my PC because I want to overclock my CPU, but my current cooler isn't like it's a budget coolers that's only good for like stock speeds and definitely not good for an i7 9700K at 5.0 gigahertz. Like, nah, it's not going to work. It's going to melt my build. So I had to go start looking. And shout out to Meds. And actually a few people, Meds, Bless Red, a whole bunch of people were looking. I went on Twitter and was like, yo, what's a good cooler that's not going to block my RAM? Because you know how like the air coolers, like the really, really good ones that are like up there with the top of the line, liquid coolers, them things is like the size of your head. They're humongous. They just block out your entire build, and if you got some pretty, RGB lights that you can be flashing and stuff, who wants to cover all that stuff up? Who wants to cover up?
Shine, man.
Or what if I want to switch out my RAM? I might have to remove my cooler just to do that. And if anyone has built the PC before, some of these coolers, like the current cooler I got, was the most aggravating part of my entire build. So yeah, look, man, I ain't trying to do all that. So
that's why you go AIO.
No, look, I don't want to go AIO, right?
That's why you go AIO. So you just
this is why I don't want to go AIO. And I know that a lot of people don't deal with it, but some people deal with it, and I don't want to deal with it. Is that some of them have leakage issues, right? It doesn't happen to everybody, but it does happen to some people.
It does. It does. You're right.
And because it happens to some people, I ain't dealing with it.
You think your luck is that bad that you'll be part of the 0.7% of people out there that happens to?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you future thinking it. That's cool. Do you want to respond to our homeboy? Part of the Destiny fandom, Sir Taz, when he says that every time you play Destiny 2 with him, you always have a good time in the game.
I guess because I'm playing with friends. When I'm playing with friends, I'm having a good time. And so, yeah, Taz, Luca, Villain, even though Villain ain't really playing, he doing something else. We don't know what he doing. Probably playing with his action figures or something. And shout out to him. He got married today. Congratulations, bro. And Forte, we just kicking it, having fun. So that's why I have a good time. But, I don't play all the time just when I'm doing gaming. I don't always only play with you guys. So when those opportunities happen and I'm like doing everything else there is to do in Destiny by myself, I realize how complete utter garbage this game is with the worst story ever. And just the worst quest. Hey, you can sit around in this one area and wait for something to happen and continue on with your quest. Get the freak out of here. I'm not doing that. So no, look, I'm just, let me not get into the Destiny slander. That's not what this is for. Forte, how have you been since the last time we did DPS podcast, bro?
Busy. I've been good though. I've been working a lot, dealing with short staff because corona and people don't want to work. Hiring a bunch of people, getting ready. Man, this holiday season is sneaking up really freaking fast, bro. It don't even feel like it's the holiday, but it's like the systems are about to literally release. I got a massive reorganization of the entire store that I'm still working on that started on Sunday. So it's been very trying and very irritating, but look, man, it's all in the name of fun and business, and had a great time over the course of the week. Played some games with some friends. Always a good time talking to you about everything that's going on. And, especially yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a culmination of like just being happy for just people in general, because I try to always stay positive about all the stuff that's going on in my own personal life when it comes to like just always slaving at work, it seems, and stuff. But on top of that, it just feels like, I just can't wait for these systems to come out. And that's probably the reason that I'm most happiest, because I feel like the conversation is going to change about being about more about games than technical specs and hardware and who has. Now trust me, the whole situation about who got the better system, that's not going anywhere. You might as well buckle up through the whole next generation for that one, because we're gonna be talking about that from the day these systems launch until they give us mid-gen refreshes, which I honestly believe we might get. But
we're definitely getting that, at least on the Xbox front.
Yeah, especially on the Xbox front, we're gonna get that. So I'm just super excited for this to finally be coming to a head in the next 11 days, and these new systems are going to be coming out, and a lot of movement. And I'm just happy to see other people happy. So that's pretty much what I've been doing outside of playing games, of course.
Yeah. Hey, look. Of course. Hey, Taz in the chat has a good question for you. Okay. He says he wants to know, have they announced the midnight release yet?
There ain't no midnight releases, bro. 10 a.m. the next day. They don't want people lined up outside the store at midnight or whatever time trying to get their system. But the funny thing is,
especially with these things being in high demand, somebody gonna get jacked behind the corner at 2 a.m.
Right. Plus, they gonna steal. This is the funny thing. They say that because they don't want people lined up at like midnight to get stuff that late at night, but they still gonna be lined up at 10 o'clock in the morning when we open. So, look, man, it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, we're opening at 10 o'clock. That's pretty much. I mean, it's 10 o'clock in our area. I think it's 10 o'clock at every. So it's not like they did with the release of the pre-orders, where it's staggered by whatever time zone you're in. It's going to be staggered like your store. Like we open at 10. That means if you're on the West Coast, your store opens at 10. That's when you'll be able to pick it up, which will be like 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just make sure you're going up to your stores and getting that stuff taken care of. And I would suggest, if you are going into a store, because I think the only stores that's going to have them in store is GameStop. Everybody else is doing, unless you went into the store and pre-ordered it. Like I think the Best Buy even do in-store pre-orders. I think they only did online, right? Because I think GameStop's the only one that did in-store pre-order.
No, Best Buy, you can do both. You can do in-store and online. In-store?
Okay, so Best Buy, I know Walmart didn't do I know Walmart didn't do in-store. They did online only. Target only did online only. And when I talked to the guy at the Target next door to me, and I could be wrong about Walmart because I believe Walmart only did online
Walmart did do in-store only. Well, Walmart
they did in-store too? Okay.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of people live streaming themselves pre-ordering.
Okay, so Target's the only one that did online. And because I asked I'm right next to a Target, and I asked him about it, and I was like,
shout out to the Grounded Gamer. Jay Fonzarelli in the house, man. What's up, bro? Also, we got a question from Hustle asking you if police will be present at your
Yes.
store during the console release.
Hell
You got armed bodyguards in case somebody, lose their mind a little bit and just, get off. All right, like.
Yeah,
get them up out of here, Popo.
I call. Well, see, the thing is, they're not doing. I don't think they're doing that. Across the company, unless you're in like one of those areas where it's like.
Oh, so you in the hood?
No, I'm not in the hood. I just refuse. I have a police.
What's up, Red Raven 96?
One of the people that have an Xbox pre-order at my store is a police officer, and I asked he's going to be working that day. So I said, bro, I'll make sure you get. I said you can get your system first in line if you're willing to chill up here for like the first hour to make sure everything goes good. He said, oh, bro, I understand. He was like, it's gonna be crazy. It's probably gonna be 1,000 people outside, and none of those people gonna get systems because they think it's gonna be something that it ain't gonna be probably. So. I just happen to be lucky because I have a police officer that's buying the system. He has it pre-order, so he'll be up there just to make sure there's law and order, and these people ain't out here trying to snatch people's systems out of their head like girls be snatching each other's hairs in fights.
He may be just really trying to make sure that he gets hit, make sure his stuff doesn't get taken. He's like, hey, he might be like, all right, yeah. Forte.
He might be,
hand me my system. All right, man. Good luck, bro. Just roll out on.
I'm gonna be like, no, bro, you gotta wait. You gotta wait till 11:00. But no, yeah. Shout out to everybody that's gonna be picking up their systems, man. If you're going into a store, be careful. Make sure you do your best due diligence when it goes to that. I would suggest if you're doing any type of trade-ins or stuff, do that stuff early. Don't do it on the day that you're picking it up because you don't want to be stuck in the line with a whole bunch of other people that's going to be doing it, and that's going to make it longer for you to get home with your next gen console. So if you're trading stuff in, do it the day before or do it like 2 days before. Don't do it on the day of. And if you're going to do it on the day of, do it later in the day. Don't try to get up there at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning and think you're going to walk right out of the store with your system. That ain't going to happen, especially if you're doing trade-ins, because you're not going to be the only one doing it. And Taz, shout out to you. I know you'll be there first thing in the morning because, Taz is at my store when he came to the pre-orders and stuff. Fonzarelli, my homie, he going to be picking his up at a GameStop. So, it's going to be real interesting to see. I can't wait for you guys to get these systems, man, because, just seeing the
Taz actually said just to hold on to his stuff, he'll get at you after work.
Oh, well,
so you might have to wait on him.
He's smart. See, Taz smart. He's like, man, I ain't dealing with this foolishness. I'll come up there later in the day. He probably got to work that morning. That's probably why. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to you guys all getting. I'm looking forward to the tweets and people taking pictures of systems and seatbelts and stuff. Cuddling their system as they take it home. It's gonna be a great day on the 10th, bro. I can't wait.
You said cuddling your system. I mean, I being happy, but ain't that a little much?
Listen, people gonna be out here taking pictures of their system in a seat belt because it's gonna be like, yo, I gotta make sure you protect it until we get to the house. It's gonna be legit out here, bro.
That is so extra.
Don't act like you ain't never did that before, bro. Don't act like
I ain't never did that before. I'm sorry.
Never.
I like my consumer electronics, but I don't like it that much. You know what I'm saying? Man. I ain't trying to put it in a car seat and everything and give it a bottle and whatnot.
You never caressed the side of the system with your hand like it was the side of your
man, and you're getting really weird on me right now. So
they did say that it's sexual tension between us. So I'm just breaking it out, man.
There is no between us. If there's any sexual tension, it's coming from your side, and it's unreciprocated on this side. That's what's going on. So look, let me tell you how my week has been. My week has been.
Let me see, Sam. There will be extra stock. I don't know what it's going to be. It was confirmed that that stores will have extras. You won't know what that is until the day before the systems come out. They can't release any of that information until then. So if you don't got one pre-order, call your store on the day before and you can get a estimate on how many extras they have. But there will be extras out there for you to attempt to try to get one.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I have been Of course, playing games, getting ready in Rogue Company for ranked mode. It was supposed to be this week. It got delayed to next week. It's fine. I don't care. Just give me more time to get ready. I've been just playing. I actually went back to the Division 1. On PC. I played it originally on Xbox, so my PC is. All I really did was just get to end game and hadn't really done much more than that. But I just had that itch and I started playing a lot of Division Survival, some Division Underground, but really trying to like play around with different builds. Building up some of the real crazy builds I had on the Xbox that were just disgusting in the dark zone. So just playing around with that, having a little fun.
What up, Racer?
What's up, Racer? How's it going?
I think that's the reason that you came in here talking all nice about Destiny, because you realized how bad the Division 1 really was. You was like, man, I can't keep talking about Destiny.
No, the Division 1 is still better than Destiny.
The best part of Division 1, the best part of Division 1 is survival. Literally,
survival is amazing, and
that's the best part of the game.
Entertainment are idiots for not bringing it to Division 2. They're just complete idiots.
Did they literally see how much their player base jumped when they added survival to the game in the Underground DLC? Couldn't believe it.
No, they have no idea why. Yeah, Neo. Thank you. Watch your mouth, Forte. Let's be for real. We all know what kind of. Neo, which one's better, Destiny or Division? Replicant says the Division campaign is much better than Destiny's, and I agree 1,000%.
Yeah, but which game is better? Just because because Destiny doesn't have a campaign.
Division 1 is better.
Destiny doesn't have a campaign, so it's disqualified from the campaign.
Oh no, it does have a campaign.
No,
it's so bad. It's so bad. It's the Dallas Cowboys of campaigns right now.
Oh God,
it's the New York Jets of campaigns.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, look, Massive Entertainment and Red Storm, who are the main developers on the Division, just have no idea what the community wanted and what the player base wanted, and they just it shows so badly with the second one. I'm not trying to wax poetic about it. It's bad. But let's go ahead and get into these topics. And first one up is, of course, what everyone's been talking about this week, which Cyberpunk 2077 being delayed once again. Now, it was kind of a weird situation because it's very rare that a game goes gold. And for those who don't know what going gold means that your game's essentially ready. It's just the build you're going to be handing off to the platforms. And essentially, although in modern times now, when a game goes gold, that build isn't what you're going to play anyway, because they're still working from that moment on all the way till launch on bugs, glitches, and there's going to be a day one patch out there that's definitely going to fix all the issues that they have been addressing all the way up from gold to the day one of the game coming out. Now, very rarely does a game go gold and then turn around and gets delayed again. It's just like, wait a minute, what's happening here? You said it was done. It was it was good to go. We good to go, but apparently we not good to go. So Forte, what's going on here, man?
Look, man, the fact that they put out that press release, like, first of all, the press release was funny. When I read it, I was sitting there, I was like, wow, they are literally about to explain, because people kept saying, they was like, yo, how the hell did this game go gold and it get delayed? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a good question. So when I finally did the video for it, I read through the article and I was like, and that's the funny thing, I didn't even read the press release before I did the video. I literally was the first time I read that press release was in the video. That's why my reaction probably was as genuine as it was, because as I was reading, I was like, oh, they are literally about to damage control the reason that they delayed this game and try to make all of their player base feel like, bro, we about to tell you why this got delayed and it's a good thing. I was like, oh Lord, here we go. But no, man, the fact they say COVID-19, you know, the world that we live in right now has a big thing to do with it.
Everybody is dealing with COVID-19.
Everybody, but yeah,
every developer out there is dealing with the same thing.
They are. But the biggest thing is they also brought to light what a lot of people were talking about, how they're releasing this game on 9 different platforms. I didn't know they were releasing the game on so many. Like, they're releasing it on Stadia.
Okay, look, Stadia.
They're releasing it on Luna. They're releasing this thing everywhere.
Well, that's such a waste of time. Imagine if you are that developer who's crunching. You don't work 100 hours this week. 100 hours you've worked, and you're working on the Stadia build. You've worked more hours that week on the game. The actual people on Stadia playing that game, like that's going to be more hours of your work than people are actually playing the game. It's sad. It's just like Stadia has like there's more people in this chat right now than there are on Google Stadia. So it's just like, man, that's pretty ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty upset. I'm doing all this work for nothing. Ain't nobody gonna play it. It's crazy, man. So it's just like,
you think the person that was in charge of development on Stadia basically he might as well just went on break the whole time that this development was going on.
I would have went to my director and was like, hey, look, bro, look.
We're going on break.
We delaying this game again. Hey, here's a great idea. We cut some of this fat. First one here is Google Stadia, okay? Because we're gonna put more man hours in this than it deserves. This game, no one's gonna play it on here. And then the next thing we need to cut is these 2013 console SKUs, because
that's the biggest problem right there.
Getting such a massive game like Cyberpunk 2077 and getting that on an Xbox VCR and that base PlayStation, bruh, what? Like, what? I actually want to see what it looks like, just to laugh. Like, kind of like how sometimes you watch bad movies just to laugh at how bad they are.
Well, you know what 24 frames per second looks like.
Just be like, good grief.
You know what 24 frames per second looks like. That's what it's going to look like.
Dude, you're being kind. 24? I was going to give it like 15.
Well, I was like 720p at 24 frames per second. 720p. It's gonna be below. It's gonna look like the Switch out here. The Switch is gonna look better. If it was on Switch, it would look better in handheld mode than it's gonna look like on those old gen consoles.
Man. Yeah. Look, if you have one of those consoles, first of all, I apologize for really just like ishing all over your hardware.
Oh man, don't let SloMo slander y'all like this, man. Everybody ain't got money yet, bro.
I mean, like, hey, look, everyone ain't got money, but like, yo, Xbox has all access. Okay, like,
they do have a console for you for $24.99 a month.
Upgrade yourself, treat yourself, okay? Because what you playing on right now is a travesty. In 2020, you don't need to do this to yourself, and do not play Cyberpunk on that console. If you want to end your console, go ahead and do that. So the whole motherboard can overheat, and you're gonna have to get new hardware. So look, just don't do it. Upgrade your console, or just don't play Cyberpunk. But that's if you have that old piece of crap, I think you need to move on from that. And there's some new hardware coming out in the next few weeks that's going to be out before Cyberpunk that you can upgrade to, hopefully, if you can find one.
Yeah, but I'm also at a point now, like I said in my video, I'm glad they delayed it, because the biggest thing is this is a big game. People wonder, like, well, why are they delayed? How can you delay this game as much as they delay it? And I keep telling people, I was like, well, dude, they're their own publisher. They don't answer to anybody. They can do whatever the hell they want to. This wouldn't happen if it was like EA or Activision. This game would have been on the front burner, like, yo, bro, fix this mug later. We gotta push this game out before Thanksgiving so we can get that money. And they're leaving some money on the table by delaying this past Thanksgiving, because people just impulse buy on that day. They'll see a game on a shelf and they'll be like, yo, I heard about this game, and they'll just buy it because it's available. They're gonna miss those sales due to that, but they're still going to sell a crap ton just because it's Cyberpunk and a lot of people are very interested in what this game is going to be. I just, at a certain point, what's this, like the 4th delay of the game so far? A lot of people are saying that the game is probably going to get delayed again, and I don't think that's
It
going to be
wouldn't
the case.
surprise me at all. I mean, like, look, as you said, they're their own publisher. So there's no like corporate overlords to say, no,
Yeah.
bump that. We need to make our money right now.
I think if they did do that, though,
you gotta launch it now, because if that was the case, it would have launched back in, what was it, May? April. Damn, like, think about that. It was
April
supposed to
12th.
come out in April, and it's still not ready.
Bro, there was an Xbox One X that came out. people got digital copies of the game that came with their Cyberpunk edition of the system, and they probably go trade. Listen, they probably go
by now,
bro. They literally are about to trade that.
Yet. You had 90 days. It's over. It's over.
No, people are literally about to trade that system in before the new game, before the game comes out, bro. That's the thing that's crazy. But for real.
Man.
But for real, ultimately, it's going to come down to, if they do have to delay it again, it's going to be the current gen version of delay. I think they said that next gen PC, all those are ready. If they have to delay it again, it's going to be the current gen that's going to get delayed, and they'll just release it on all the other platforms to save face. Because I just truly believe, I think there was probably a groundbreaking bug that was introduced in the current gen platforms that they were like, yo, we are going to be screwed if we release this the way that it is. So we're going to fix this and delay the whole game.
There's a game-breaking bug. It's the console.
Yeah, right. The console's the game-breaking bug. So,
man, look, I kind of agree with you. They should probably just go ahead and just release it on the builds that are working. And then if it comes to that, if they can't get it fixed by December, then, that's what you got to do. Now, I do kind of wonder if this game is going to be severely buggy on
absolutely
really,
it will be.
Even the builds they think are ready, that they're probably going to be buggy as well. If you think about Witcher 3, was when that launched, that didn't launch in the best state either. So I kind of feel like I feel like CD Projekt Red is just they're trying to make sure it's playable and that they can get as many of the bugs taken care of as possible. But when you have QA testers, I mean, let's say you got like 100 QA testers, 100 QA testers looking at everything in the game and trying to fix all the bugs and find all the bugs is a drop in the bucket to millions of people playing your game at launch. They're going to do things that you didn't think of. They're going to go places that you didn't think that someone would go. And then some people are going to fall through the map. Some people are going to walk through a wall. Some people are going to glitch out and their game crash on them. It's just like they find bugs that you didn't realize were there, and then that's why you get situations like with Ubisoft and Watch Dogs Legion, where Xbox One X's are overheating, and then it's actually not just those. It's actually, I think it's like all platforms are dealing with it, even with I don't know PC, but it's like Xboxes and PlayStations are overheating, and it's like whatever is causing that, they tried to find that kind of stuff and they couldn't.
So
and they don't have enough people to do that. It's just the way it is.
So what's the over or under on characters in the game missing prosthetics? What's the over or under? Because I truly believe with the whole customization of the game and being able to replace parts and stuff like that, since those things are interchangeable, those are going to be the things that you're going to see. Like, yo, why is this dude walking around with no arm and he actually had one like 2 seconds ago? Did I miss something in the cutscene? How many times are you going to see people's arms going through walls and stuff, or people shoot, like you see enemies shooting through cover? Like, what, bro? How are you killing me? But there's a wall right here. So there's going to be a couple of things that's going to happen. I think the game's going to be phenomenal in the end, but it's kind of hard for me to believe that any game releases without a bug. I think Red Dead was one of the few that came out pretty close to bug free, but as soon as the multiplayer launched, all the bugs came out then. It's like that's where their bugs came in when they hit online for Red Dead Redemption Part 2. But I think that game actually launched like pretty bug free when it came to the single player. It was everything else they added on top of it. So let's just hope I'm just hoping that the game launches this year, because there's a lot of people that are literally buying this game and they're literally taking vacation time based around this game, and they already are going to be, especially if you're on Xbox, let's be for real, this was one of the games that you were truly looking forward to playing on your brand new system, and now it's like one less thing that you have a chance to play at launch. Now, granted, the game's still coming out, but it sucks that it's not coming out like a week after like it was supposed to.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you think that the delays and the crunch arguments and the bad press they've been getting, and I think I saw something today with the CEO, like a quote that he said to the investors was like, "Hey, look, the crunch ain't that bad. Actually, it's not even bad crunch at all. Yada yada yada." And that got out, and the Dez was like, "Yo, you really said that?" And he sends them a message like, "My bad. Look, I was just capping for the investors. I know the crunch is bad. Don't worry about it." Like, all this stuff is going on. Do you think this will have any kind of effect on the reviews or the reception of the game when it comes out?
No, because
not even a little bit.
Are you talking? It's going to have. I mean, it's going to be a little. I mean, but when if the game was already slated to be a 9.5, is it going to drop it out of the 9s? I mean, at that point, it's like, now if it's like a 9.1, could it easily come in at like an 8.9 at that point? I mean, it's probably going to move a couple of percentage points. But the biggest thing is, if the game is bug free, which we don't think it will be, but let's say you can get through the majority parts of the game, because, a lot of these publications, let's be for real, aren't going to wait till the entire game is beat to review it. They're going to do, some places are going to do review in progress. Then some people are going to give you impressions and stuff like that. And there's no way they're going to be able to get through this entire game in the amount of time that it's going to take to beat it.
There's also going to be
there's also multiplayer coming
who are going to play the game before that day one patch.
Patch.
Yeah, because if you recall earlier this year, that really hurt Ori. Because Ori was having some frame rate issues that they fixed in the day one patch that everyone will mostly fix. I think some people who played the actual release dealt with some of it too. But it was much worse for the people who were reviewing the game, and that really affected their review score of the game. So I kind of wonder if
what happens if they don't send out review copies for current gen though? How about if they only send out next gen copies in PC?
I mean, that's a possibility.
Because if you think about it, you're going to sell the funny thing is they're going to sell the most on current gen. That's where they're going to sell most of their copies of the game at. But they're probably going to send out the review copies to publications for the next gen, even though I think all these systems they're backwards compatible. So even if you send out a code for PS5 and Xbox Series X, it's gonna work on the current gen platform anyway. So I think the reviews themselves are going to be centered around next gen, and if next gen is good, then the game's not going to suffer for any of the faults of the current gen. Now most people are going to play it on next gen. That's probably where they're going to spend the most of their time reviewing it.
That's not true. Most people are going to play it on current gen consoles.
No, I'm not saying people. I'm saying most people that are reviewing this game are going to play it on next gen. They're not going to play it on current gen. They're going to go back and see what it's like on current gen, like after they get their review, after they finish their review for next gen, because that's where they're going to play it at.
I disagree with that too, and here's why. So let's say I'm reviewing the game. I'm reviewing Cyberpunk, and I know I have a copy. I have a code for, and I think it's probably only going to be one, especially considering that you can just get the free upgrade to next year. So I know that the majority of the people who are going to read my review are going to be playing it on, say, an Xbox One X or a PlayStation 4 Pro. So it would behoove me to talk about, my experience with the game from hardware that the people are going to play it for the most. Like if I just talk about, hey, look, I played it on Xbox Series X, it's amazing. I got no ray tracing at launch, but hey, like it ran well. The frame rate was stable. It was a good, even though there was some bugs.
They'll do a separate review.
But
they'll do a separate review. That's what they'll do. They'll do a separate review. They will do. Because put it this way, I'm trying to tell you, nobody's going to play this game fully through current gen. They're not going to do it. They're going to play it on next gen, and the same person that does the review for next gen, they're going to go back and they're going to play the game and do certain parts of the game because guess what? There's probably going to be cross save. I think this game has cross save, so you can play it on one platform and still take your save back to the current gen and still get all of your stuff over there. They'll probably go back once they finish it over there and try some of the stuff on the current gen and see how the game performs and runs. That's not going to change their input of how the story is. It's not going to change their input of how the game, how the structure of the game is, but the performance of the game is going to come under fire when it comes to that. And they'll do a completely different review talking about how the story is just as good if you're playing on next gen, but these are some of the issues that current gen platforms have, and then you might see a completely different review score for that. But they're definitely going to try to get really good scores out of this game when it comes to next gen, because that's where most of the clicks are going to come from. People are going to want to know what next gen feels like and looks like, and then they're going to go to what current gen after the fact. It's going to be like more of an afterthought when it comes to that one. In my opinion, it could be wrong, but I think everybody wants to know about next gen right now. People want to know what's new. They don't want to know what's old. They already know the VCR and the refrigerator.
Well, it's a new game, but the thing is that not everyone jumps over to next gen immediately. We know that there's not even going to be enough of the hardware available for both.
But that's why I think they're going to do two different reviews.
So if someone wants, I really want to play this on my PlayStation 5, but you can't because you can't find the PlayStation 5. So what you going to do? You going to not play the game? Of course you're going to play.
Well, remember games like Battlefield 4 had reviews on both systems. They had 360 reviews and they had PS4, Xbox One, and 360 reviews. And they were completely different reviews.
From the same look, you're going to get reviews from different sources. If you go to Metacritic, right? If you go to Metacritic, I was actually looking at the review scores for the Dark Pictures, Little Hope, Supermassive Games is a new horror game that's coming out tomorrow. I was looking at reviews of that. They're pretty mediocre. It's like low 70s, pretty much.
Right.
But I was looking, and we all know why. Supermassive they don't put in, they are spread too thin. They're not putting in as much time as they did and having their full studio working on just one game like they did Until Dawn. So when you get, when you're spread that thin, you get, a mediocre story, unfortunately. But it is right. Anyway, the reason why I was bringing it up is that when I looked at the reviews, they were pretty spread out. There was 3 reviews for Xbox One X. There was 5 reviews for PlayStation when I looked at it, and I think 6 or 8 reviews, somewhere between 6 and 8 reviews on PC. So it gets spread out that way, but not every publication or reviewer is reviewing
the same version of the game.
So maybe IGN did PlayStation, but then maybe of course PC Gamer's going to do PC, but then maybe GameSpot did PC too.
PlayStation Magazine is going to do PlayStation.
Right,
They might do Xbox too, though.
The Xbox One is the 70.
Yeah, EGM is going to do nothing.
Right. But it's going to get spread out. But I think the vast majority of the reviews are going to come on current gen consoles because that's where people are going to play them the most. The reason why, for all the reviews you look at, the reason why the majority of reviews you see are on PlayStation is because where are the majority of people gaming? The majority of people are gaming on PlayStation. That's why the majority of the reviews are there. So we'll see that shift coming soon in next gen as more people adopt next generation. But until then, it's going to be current gen stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. 29 people here, man. Really appreciate you guys. Racer said, man, he's just happy that he said thanks for all the great entertainment we give them for free. SloMo, did you realize that we do this for free? Free.
Yes, I do.
I know, man. Well, SloMo definitely. SloMo is like, yeah, we definitely doing this stuff for free. And Mitch Dies a Lot says, glad that we switched it over to Thursday. Shout out to the Thursday gang. It's a great thing being on Thursday, right, SloMo?
Hey, look, Thursday nights is all right. I think we have some very stiff competition on Thursdays for you guys' attention, but we really appreciate the people that come out.
Wait, did you say stiff? What?
Stiff competition.
Who?
Hey, look, don't do that.
No, just who? We're better than we're the best thing on Thursday. Let's be for real.
Look, I didn't say
let's cap. I
mean, we definitely
best thing on
Thursday. That's not cap. We definitely the best thing around. But like, there's some good shows.
No. There are some good shows on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm just saying, the people who came here know we're the best at, but and that's no shade towards anyone else.
At least you ain't got to deal with a presidential debate this week. at least your decision was made a lot easier. Well, it actually was made a lot easier last week. So I apologize if you had to listen to two grown men whine at each other for 3 hours last week.
Right.
At least they cut the mics.
Let's close out this topic. Cyberpunk 2077. It's unfortunate it got delayed again. Of course, we're both going to play it. I'm playing it on PC. You playing it on PC too, right?
Sure am, because the day one patch, the next gen patch ain't till next year.
Right. I'll be playing with ray tracing. I don't know about the rest of you guys. So
I'm good. I want to play it on Xbox, but it's like, why, when the whole benefit of playing it on Xbox is because of the patch that we're not getting. Oh, hot take though. Do you think it's going to come out on the 10th, or do you think it's going to get delayed?
I'm about 60%.
No. That's cutting both ways, sir. What do you think?
That's not cutting both ways. I'm telling you,
ain't no percentage. Just say
it
yes.
Will
it's
come
getting
out December 10th. 40% of my thought is it's going to get delayed to like February.
So you think so? But you're basically saying it's coming out on December 10th.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards that.
No. See, this is what I'm talking about.
We haven't talked about AMD yet. We're getting to that.
You keep going both ways. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going both ways. I'm telling you.
Yes
asked
or
me my
no?
Opinion.
No.
I gave you my opinion.
I said hot take,
opinion doesn't mean it's not my opinion. I mean that I don't understand what
I asked for a hot take, SloMo. Is it? I didn't ask you, do you think it's good? I didn't ask you a percentage. I said, is it going to get delayed, SloMo, or is it not going to get delayed?
You asked me, do I think it's going to get delayed? And then turn around and say, I ain't asked for your opinion.
Who wants a SloMo for Christmas? Who wants a SloMo for Christmas?
You flip flopping and all over the place, man. That's what I'm getting you for Christmas.
All right,
flip flops.
All right,
clearly is what you wear all day long.
Moving on. Cybernox, shout out to you, brother. He said, "Let's get SloMo to 1K for Bugsnax. Let's go."
Hey, look. I appreciate the support, but y'all ain't gotta do that. All right. I mean, we gotta do that.
So what are you saying? That you rather not have 1K? You don't want 1K, SloMo?
Hey, look, okay. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, what we're talking about, on Twitter yesterday, the news came out that Bugsnax is going to be free in PS Plus. Why? Because I guess Sony realized that nobody buying that trash. Anyway, they realized this, and then everyone who keeps trying to get me to play Bugsnax just because they want to torture me starts sending me messages. Hey, SloMo. Hey, Bugsnax is free now. Now you don't even have to spend any money on it. Ho ho ho.
Did you actually get those DMs?
No, those weren't even DMs. They were just straight up.
They were just straight messages.
Just straight messages, like literally half the day. And so I said, you know what? Y'all really want me to play this Bugsnax? If you really want it that bad, get me to 1,000 subs, and I'll play Bugsnax. That when it hits 1,000 live stream, Bugsnax, same day. I'll do it. But
how long is this live stream going to be? It can't be 30 minutes. We got to put a time limit on this, man. Because you already finessed us with the grounded one.
I'm not going to give you the grounded was a great stream because
it was a great stream, but it was supposed to be you were supposed to suffer more.
I am a quality streamer, and I made that game fun. Is it fun?
It was a fun stream.
Was it a fun stream? Absolutely. So
Cyberpunk, that's a great one right there. Slow-mo, if we get you to 1,000, you gotta go for the platinum. You gotta go for the platinum, Slow-mo.
You
gotta go for the platinum, Slow-mo. That's a great one right there.
You get a look, y'all can't add stipulations to this. It is what it is. I will stream it. A platinum.
Oh yeah, that's gold.
Poke my eyes out before I play this game long enough to get a platinum.
Golden, bro. All right, what would it take? 1,200?
Nothing.
All right, Slow-mo. This is what we'll do. 1,000 for you to stream it the first time. 1,500, you have to go back and get the platinum. 1,500. So you got to stream it at 1,000.
2K.
2K? Oh, so 2K, you will go back and play this game again and get the platinum.
Never mind. No, not 2K. I changed my mind.
Everybody scream. Everybody take this down. Slow-mo is going to, when we get Slow-mo to 1,000, he is going to stream this game at 1,000. When he gets to 2K, whenever he hits 2K, guys, we are going to literally go on him. He's got to go for the platinum.
I'm telling you that. Look, that's not going to look. I'm not agreeing to that. That was
you just said it. You said
that was a thought. It was an errant thought. It was a wrong thought. It was a bad thought.
Why you afraid that
I'm not platinuming? I am not platinuming Bugsnax. Okay, no. Look, I have one platinum on my PlayStation account. One is Spider-Man 2018. Damn good game. Love it. That I'm proud of that platinum. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, but I'm proud of that platinum.
Nobody wants to say that
platinum is not going to be Bugsnax. I refuse. Okay.
Well, it might take you a while to get to 2K, so you could probably beat a couple of games before then, and it won't be your only platinum.
I'm just not doing a platinum for Bugsnax. Like no.
Yo, everybody is literally saying that's what they heard you say. Racer say Slow-mo fights Bugsnax. Slow-mo, you will get views. He said you'll get mad views off of it. You will. I think people will come out to support you. And then Replicant says, clearly I heard Slow-mo say 2K sub.
Look,
and I
may get views off of it, but aren't y'all concerned about my mental health? Aren't y'all concerned about me?
No,
I don't want to play that game. I already agreed to, hey, give me the 1K. I'll do a live stream of Bugsnax. I will suffer through it. I'll give you a good hour and a half of you guys laughing at my deep sighs of playing this absolutely ridiculous game. But platinuming it, first off, I don't even know what it requires to get the platinum. I don't even know what it is. It's probably going to be something like eat 1 million strawberries or something stupid like that. Like I'm just like, no, I'm not doing it. I refuse to do that. Look, we are so far off topic.
Wait, okay, all right. If we're not going to, I'll give you an out then.
There is no need for an out because I'm not doing that. No,
well, you already basically said you'll do it for 2K. So it's recorded. You said 2K.
What I said was
you misspoke.
It was a thought that I said out loud, but it wasn't me saying I will absolutely.
All right, we'll talk about
the
this more in
Bugsnax
the second
Platinum
half
for
of the
2K.
show. We'll bring it up again.
Look, I'm not even at 1K. All right, so look, y'all need to go ahead and get that going. Like, if you haven't subbed yet, go ahead and sub. You want to see me, cry on stream playing Bugsnax, but platinuming it. I mean, look, I got
2K.
I got my pride here. Okay, I don't want to.
Right
I don't want to have to do that. Like that. That's going to be really difficult to have to keep streaming myself playing that. Like, look. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna do a campaign at the end of every one of my
no.
videos going forward. I'm gonna do literally.
No. Wait.
Out you. Do you remember how Saul's outro
Dude,
for Iron Lords is? I'm gonna literally make an outro for you
Forte,
to do.
Stop talking. Look at the chat.
I'm looking at the chat.
God, I hope the plat takes 100 hours. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all just want to see me be tortured. That's all this is. That's all you want to see is just like, hey, look, I hope it takes 100 hours.
Yo, Dark said he'll give you $20 to play. Dog, man. And you got to think about this, Slomo. When you hit 2K, you gonna be like, think of Kid Smooth, man. You gonna have people out there rooting on. Super chats gonna be turned on. You gonna make so much. You gonna get people gonna be like, yeah, Slomo push through.
Nah.
Look, even Racer said stop fronting. You know you want to do it.
No, I don't.
Eagle fan said he just subbed.
And he didn't say that. He said you have no pride because you game on PC, which is just because Racer is a hater of PCs. But
Smiles is like Bugsnax or bus.
Hey, Smile, I thought he was on my side. Like what's going on?
He's on the side of entertainment. That's what he's on. Side of entertainment.
And you know what? That's we're gonna move on. We'll
come back to this.
Cyberpunk is delayed again. Too bad. We eventually end up playing it at some point. Eventually, maybe in December, maybe sometime in 2021. But we'll find out soon, because clearly you can't trust what CD Projekt Red says about their game. They could tell you, hey, absolutely coming out December 10th, and then 5 minutes later, we delayed it again. Sorry, things change. So moving on though, have you? Well, I know you've heard about that. I know you've heard about one of these directors, but have you heard that not only did the Halo Infinite lead director resign, but so did the Everwild creative director?
I didn't know about the Everwild until you sent it to me, but that makes sense because he didn't even know what the game was. So he's leaving a covered bear still.
Say I had some conversations. Shout out to iDizzy, who thinks that this was a nothing burger, and I'm thinking, like, I don't know, because, like, as you said, we don't even know what the game is. They don't even know what the game is, and that usually when you have that kind of like uncertainty, and then you're sitting in meetings, you're trying to figure out a direction for the game, and maybe different people have a different opinion of what they want it to be. Right. I mean, clearly, I see that game. Well, those two trailers that they showed, I have an idea of what I think the game is, but who knows if that's the truth or not, because they don't even know what the game is, and you could think it's something completely different. And I think it's all based upon like what we would like the game to be. It's all based on what we would like the game to be, but then everyone's going to have a different feel about that or a different opinion on that. And so it just could really harken back to a lot of situations that we've read about or heard about from behind the scenes in game development, where there's a lot of issues going on, and then they just go in a different direction. Now, on the bright side, cup half full here. Maybe that's a good thing at this point in time, because it's bad on the Halo Infinite side, because that game was supposed to be coming out, right? That game was supposed to be coming out in a few weeks.
That game supposed to be coming out literally in 11 days.
Yeah, it was supposed to be coming out. It got delayed. It's got 0 date now. We just got a year.
Yeah.
And your creative director leaves. This is not even the first one. This is technically the third one, but the second one leaving now. It's just like, whoa, what's happening here? Who's in charge? What's happening over at 343 Industries? But with Rare, this game is early enough in development that if you lose your creative director, You don't even know what the game is. Does it matter that you lost the guy? Get someone else in here, and maybe they got an actual idea of what y'all going to make. Because
Right.
that wishy-washy, we don't know what it is. We're just kind of going to hug some trees and figure it out. You know, maybe I'll eat some bark and pet a raccoon, and then it'll come to me. No, bump all that. Get someone in there, but like, hey, look, this is what we're making. We're making an action RPG. We're we got these fluorescent deer with the huge antlers. We're gonna make them, like our steeds or whatever. We're gonna ride them into battle. Like, figure it out. Get a direction and stick to it. And that's something that when you go back to like BioWare and Anthem, part of the reason why Anthem was being like coming in hot as it came out and really only had like 18 months of actual real development is they spent 4 years just arguing over what the game was going to be and constantly changing it over and over and over again. And it was mostly due to, as reports from Jason Schreier have said, the lead director not having the backbone to just be like, put his foot down. This is what we're doing. You shut up. We're not doing that stupid nonsense. We're doing this. Go out and make the game. Like, you need someone with the balls to say that.
Right.
And if you don't, like, I'm looking at Rare and it's like, how you show us two trailers, and you don't know what the game is? Don't even show me a single trailer if you don't know what your game is. I don't want to see it at all until you actually know what you're making for me. So it's just that, to me, I think one situation is really, really bad. I think the other situation might actually turn out to be good. Like, this might actually turn out where Everwild might actually turn out to be a really, really great game, because they might get someone in there that can actually turn it into that, and it's early enough in development where it could be molded. Whereas Halo Infinite, I'm sorry, but like, any hype I have for Halo Infinite, fini, gone. It's out. I can't do it no more. I mean, I'm trying. Joseph Staten's there. Dude has written the vast majority of Halo stories. He's really good at that. But I mean, like, look, the game has been in development for how many years now? 5
that we know of. Probably longer, because they did, what was it, 2015 when they announced, when did they announce the Slipspace engine? Was that 7?
That was actually 2 years ago. They didn't announce the Slipspace engine until 2018. So when they showed that completely fake trailer that we found out behind the scenes that even the 343 Des was like, yo, we doing this? That
was an Anthem move right there.
Our engine right now ain't looking like that, because they outsourced that. They outsourced that first trailer that was running on Slipspace engine, but definitely not running on like anything that they were working on at that time. They outsourced that to a different company. So that company is the one that made that trailer, and like 343 was like, yo, so we gotta make that. Because where we at right now ain't quite there yet. But okay.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Replicant. You have a great night, man. We know you're on the other side of the pond, man. So you have a good night. Catch it on the replay. We'll see you next week, brother.
Oh yeah, man. Yo, take care, man. Glad to always have you in. And yeah, but we'll check you out later, man. Yeah, I just, as I said, like, really concerned about Halo Infinite. Not all really concerned about Everwild. The more I thought about it, the more I all I could think of was the positives, that they probably will have a good direction now, or maybe the lead director didn't like the way things were going and where he was being told to develop.
Maybe every idea he had about the game that he wanted to make, everybody was shutting it down. He's like, well, if you don't want to make the game I want to make, I'm out of here. That's probably what he did.
Okay. Oh, hey, there's a question in the chat. I think we could do a quick side note for this. Racer wants to know about what's our games of the generation now that it's ending. And P.S. Don't say Destiny, Forte. So Forte, go ahead and go first, man.
So he knows I'm going to put Destiny as one of those. Destiny's going to be one. Listen, man, your mother even said Destiny was one of the best games this generation. So let's be for real.
My mother doesn't even play video games.
Your mother is the ashen one. You are the demon spawn from inside of her, sir. So let's be for real. You take all of your mannerisms from her. So let's be for real about that. But when it comes to games of the generation for me, I even posted it on her timeline because she asked it on Twitter, I want to say 4 or 5 days ago. God of War is the number one game of this generation for me. It's the only game I put Destiny down for. It's the one true game of this generation that I felt like completely surprised me in multiple ways because I was not feeling the way that they changed God of War because I'm a true God of War fan from the beginning. And I thought they did something masterful to bring that game, to bring the hype back to that game that it lost over the course of games like Ascended and stuff like that. So that was my game of the generation. Destiny has to be up there because I put over 6,000 hours.
Okay.
It has to be. It has
one
to
game.
Be.
One game. You don't get to add multiple games.
Well, no, he said games. He didn't say one game. He said games. Read that thing again. It says, what are your guys' games of the gen? Isn't that what he said? Games?
Let me go back. He said, well, I mean, because it's two of us. So
no, what are you? No, he said your guys' games.
Okay, fine. You can have multiple games.
No, that's okay. No. Just to keep the conversation going, we already know it. God of War was the game of the generation for me. What about you, SloMo?
All right, this is
Bugsnax.
Okay,
it's not even out yet.
This is what's difficult for me is that although I've enjoyed games this generation, I have enjoyed games from previous generations more. So it's like I almost kind of don't feel like the games this generation were all that great. Like they were good games, really, really good games that I enjoyed, but I didn't have it. Like it didn't have that feeling for me where it really resonated, and it was like I could see myself playing this game again a decade from now. You know, like a classic. Now, I'm not saying they haven't been classic games that people have enjoyed. Of course, they have. Like people are, wax poetic about Witcher 3. People love Red Dead 2, the story, at least for the most part. You talked about God of War. There's a lot of people that love that. For me, it's just been, I've enjoyed games, but games, of course, there has to be a game in the generation because somebody's got to be on top. I really can't think of anything that I feel like really deserves it. I have to think on it. Give me a little bit of time. I'll figure it out. But as of now, I'm just kind of like, I've liked games, but love them? No. And maybe this is because I play so many games so often. Like I've beat 31 games this year, and in beating 31 games this year, yeah.
Holy crap!
And that's more than I beat last year. I beat about 28 or 29 last year, and the year before that, I think it was 26. And look, I play a lot of games, and I feel like very few times after I play a game, I'm like, I really gotta like stop and think about the experience and be like, wow, that was really, really awesome. I'm really just like, all right, that was cool. Uninstall, move on to the next one.
So yeah. I kind of feel, I understand what you're saying, and I also kind of feel what Lucas said in the chat, where she said you played way too many games to really quantify what was good to you. Like, I think that's one of the good things about not playing a bunch of games, but only really playing the ones that actually really truly interest you, because you kind of can pick out the ones that stand out for me. Like Hellblade still stands out to me because it was one of the best experiences I've had in a game. Now, do I consider that one of the best games of the generation? No. But I think it still stands out because I didn't play a lot of them, but it stands out against the ones I did. I still think Battlefield, as much as Battlefield 4 was one of the poorly managed games at the beginning of this generation, I still think that was one of the best games that came out this generation because it was so fun to play that game in a buggy mess. It was a buggy mess, and I still played that game hundreds and hundreds of hours when it barely worked sometimes. And I think that DICE did a really good job building that game back up over the course of the generation. And the only reason I don't play it now is because at this point, the game is just, it doesn't look good enough to want me to go back and play it. If they had some type of patch, I would still play that game to this day. And it's just like Witcher. People give Witcher kind of the shaft when it comes to the gameplay. They talk about like how it's cumbersome and stuff like that, but the story is amazing. But that cumbersome in the gameplay, people remember it, but they remember so much more. Like last generation, BioShock Infinite was one of my favorite games of last generation. And it wasn't because it was better than BioShock 1. I mean, definitely wasn't better. It definitely wasn't better than part 1. But it was like the story stood out to me to the point where I had to have major conversations with people when I beat that game. I couldn't wait for friends to finally finish it so I could talk about what the heck we just saw. And let's not talk about in Mass Effect. Look, Mass Effect was a whole nother level. Everything from the indoctrination theory to
that was the previous generation, though.
No, I'm just saying, but that's how I look at those type of games. Like each generation, I could pick out the game. Even in last generation, I played a bunch of games, but that's what I'm saying. You pick out certain ones that just stand out to you. And it's hard for me to believe, like you just talked about Spider-Man. Spider-Man must have stuck out to you enough for you to want to go out and get a platinum trophy in the game. It had that.
Yeah, I really enjoy Spider-Man, and then like I was really, even though the DLC wasn't that great, it was still quality enough that I think for Spider-Man it was a really good story, but the gameplay really just really resonated with me, and so Spider-Man's up there, but I I guess like when the term quote unquote games of the generation, I just kind of feel like there's a certain level of quality. And I'm not saying Spider-Man's not quality. It's a very, very high quality, great game. But it's just like I feel like when I compare it to games of previous generations,
that's why they compare it to this generation
are like I feel are higher. Have a higher regard.
Well, that's why you consider it game of the generation and not the best game of all time. Like I will tell
all that already. Look, okay, look.
Yeah, I tell you right now, like Mass Effect is Mass Effect is the game of the Mass Effect is my favorite game of all time. There is no game that will ever, well, I won't say ever. As of right now, there's no game that's been better than Mass Effect 2. Nothing. I don't care what I played so far. That game is the pinnacle for me.
It's my number 2 game of all time.
That's my number one game of all time. There's nothing close to that game because it is pure perfection when I played through that game, and I loved every freaking minute of the DLC. Was some of the best DLC that BioWare has ever freaking made in their life. I couldn't believe the DLC that came out for that game, and I don't think anything can come close to it. Now, sooner or later, there will be something that eclipses that, but as of right now, nothing that came out this generation. I'm with you on that. Nothing in this generation has even came close to that.
Yeah, but, and I feel like I've been kind of spoiled by that. I'm comparing. It's unfair. I'm comparing.
Yeah,
games.
You're comparing it. Yeah,
I'm comparing games of just this generation and previous generations, and to me, in my personal opinion, they do not match up. Mass Effect 2 is one. I don't think it's a single game that came out this generation that matches or even compares to Mass Effect 2. There may be other people who feel differently. I feel like my favorite game of all time is Chrono Trigger, and there's nothing that compares to Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger.
Another one that's hard for me is Knights of the Old Republic, which is again, that's 2 generations back. But if you actually put a gun in my head and said pick a game, slow-mo, like just hurry up. All right, cool. Dragon Age Inquisition. That's a game that I really, really enjoyed. And if I think about how invested I was in the story, the characters, the DLC, how it ended, how I feel, how I wanted a sequel, and how I feel about the incoming sequel, then yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition is probably it. And up there, close to it, will also be Spider-Man 2018 because of how much I played it. Another one up there will probably be Fire Emblem Three Houses, based off of how many times I played it, how invested I was in the story and the characters, and that those three would be it. I wouldn't really put anything else up there, and that's no shade towards any other games. I know Luca asked me about did I play Witcher 3? I did play Witcher 3 multiple times, attempted to play through Witcher 3, and it's just, I get why people like it so much and love it so much. It's just, it was good. It was like, I'm not knocking it. Quality game. Just for me, I was bored. I got bored. It just like I would play it for like 45 minutes to an hour, and then all I thought about was playing something else. And so, it just wasn't up there for me. But I get why people love it so much, because the stories are great, especially the side stories. Like, you can get so engrossed in some of those side missions, that those side quests that turned into something that was so big. Like the way CD Projekt Red wrote those side quests, they're better written and more in depth than many of the main storylines for some of these other RPGs. But it is what it is. Now, back to Halo Infinite. I don't think we ever got your thought on.
We didn't.
Yeah, the leaving of directors for both Halo Infinite and Everwild. What do you think about that, man?
Everwild, don't care, because I don't even know what the game is. It probably isn't going to affect what's happening with the development of that game anyways, because we just, like, not even 2 months ago, we still didn't know what this, when those articles came out, like, you're still trying to figure out what this game is. So I don't think that really impacts what they got going on. I mean, sure, the game's probably going to get pushed back a little bit longer, just because they do have to come up with a coherent story that everybody can pretty much be in line with. But that game right now, we don't have any expectations for what that game is. So I think that's pretty much about nothing. Halo, on the other hand, oh man, this game just can't catch any breaks. But this was something that was going to happen. It had to happen. Not saying it had to be Chris that it happened to, but somebody had to fall on the sword somewhere. And the thing is, he's still at Microsoft. He didn't lose his job. He just isn't at 343 anymore. He still picks up a Microsoft paycheck, so don't feel bad for him. I just think that this opened up a glaring issue when it comes to the top end, where a lot of people weren't paying attention to what was going on at 343. And you talked about this very eloquently yesterday, SloMo, where you talked about Phil Spencer, this being on his radar. Now that, Phil Spencer is kind of... Go ahead. Oh, wow, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. While Phil Spencer was, using the hands-off approach, him and Matt Booty, a lot of stuff kind of went, underneath the curtain, and people didn't know what was going on. But now, your number one IP that you had launching with a new system gets delayed, and, Phil Spencer wants to know why. And by uncovering all of the different mismanaging that's happening there, it was only a matter of time to something like this happen. Bonnie Ross isn't immune to this, but she kind of is to an extent, because she doesn't just run 343. She's also she's also on the board, so she has other obligations too. But she was one of the people that put Chris Lee in that position to be able to succeed, to do the things that he needed to do. So a lot of this blame falls on her too. But ultimately, it's really just going to come down to Halo's not coming out next year. I keep telling people, y'all think this game's coming out in 2021. Is not, in the fact that Phil Spencer even himself has come out and said that they're exploring maybe releasing this game in parts, which is the wrong definitely thing to do. It kind of just makes me feel like overall, like, Destiny, Bungie, Jesus Christ. Maybe that's what I want. Maybe secretly I want Bungie to come back and work on this game, and I know that's not going to happen, and it doesn't need to happen because 343 has the talent to make this a great game. They just don't have the leadership in place to, fester a good enough community inside of their four walls to rally everybody together to want to make a great game. When you got, when you have different contractors coming in and out of the door and no one knows what is going on with the game in different instances at different times, that's kind of a turnoff. People just want to work on the game because it says Halo and they want to say that they have Halo on their resume when they go work at the next big thing. So it's not even really about the pride of working at the studio anymore. It's about the IP. And right now the IP is suffering because of people not doing their due diligence to make sure that 343 shouldn't be the priority. The game that you are making, the $5 billion franchise you're building should be the priority. And right now it just seems like a lot of that is being like left up in the air for people that shouldn't even really matter in the end. And I think Phil Spencer recognizes that, and that's why you're going to see even more changes over the course of however long it's going to take before this game finally does release. 343 is going to look a lot different when it comes to when this game finally releases. And somebody in the chat was just talking about like how I blame Phil Spencer, Victor Allenstein, and I do. Phil Spencer is not, he is not absolved from this. He is part of the reason that this happened because he was head of Xbox before Matt Booty was. And yes, head of Xbox does mean he has a lot of different responsibilities. He has to deal with a bunch of different teams. But let's be for real. Before 2017, they only had 5 or 6 studios that he really had to really manage. And a lot of this stuff went uncovered. And now he's taking a more vested look into it because, he finally found a way to get, Microsoft in general involved in gaming in a way they've never been involved in gaming before. And he's doing everything he can do now to fix a problem that was like inherited by him by, the previous regime that was involved. But a lot of this stuff happened under his watch. So just like we blame, Bonnie Ross for running 343 and allowing this to happen under her watch, Phil Spencer let this happen under his watch too. This game should have never been shown at that August event or July, whatever event it was, July or August. It should have never been shown at that event without him being able to see it. And he shouldn't have been surprised for what he saw. And that's why I say he's a little at fault for it. But the biggest thing is he's the head of Xbox and he's been making a lot of moves to try to make it better. So people are willing to forgive him more because he has made positive changes inside of Xbox. And I agree with that. But, he's still at fault for some of the stuff that happened.
I'm going to say, and I understand where Victor's coming from. And I think it's mostly due to the fact that this is on Bonnie isn't new to this industry. Bonnie's been doing this for a very, very long time. And she's been around the block. And her being like the deputy of whatever Matt Booty's position is, her being not just the studio head at 343, but being a little bit more than that, it means like that's way more pressure. And that's also puts her in a much worse light when you are at a slightly higher position than the rest of the other 23 studio heads at Xbox Game Studios, but you also have the one studio that's not delivering anywhere near where people would expect their flagship franchise to deliver. Right. So much to the point where they've had to pull people from other studios. Like if I was her, I'd be embarrassed and apologizing to the other studio heads who were relying on those people to make their games. But instead, they're helping you make your game because you dropped the ball. And like that's like, and maybe that's just I have that kind of pride in my work where I would feel some kind of way about that. And I think she should feel some kind of way about that. And the way you make sure that never happens again is that you make changes to make sure that the mistakes that made in the past don't repeat themselves. But this is typical for 343, where there have been all kinds of systemic issues within the culture of that studio that just keep rearing their ugly head every time they get through development. And it's like, it's the people who have left and spoken openly about the things that have been going on, saying like, this isn't new. None of this stuff is new. None of this stuff started with Halo Infinite. It's always been that way. And so with that said, it's like, I think they got to make a decision now. I would charge this to Matt Booty and not just Phil, because Matt Booty, absolutely, being the guy who now runs first party, this is his responsibility. Phil got more stuff to deal with. Phil's got to deal with xCloud. He's got to deal with all the services and crap. He's the head of gaming for Microsoft.
Well, you got to. Well,
it's his responsibility, but then also it's a bigger responsibility for Bonnie Ross and Matt Booty. So in this case, and I've watched all the Booties. I've watched all of Matt Booty's interviews, and what I always hear from him, and I understand it, and it's probably best for them to do it this way at this time, especially considering they have so many studios to deal with. But they're very, very handoff. The whole limited integration strategy, and he's always like promoting what the studios want to do. We don't want to upset your culture. We want to, whatever you guys want to do, we want you to make sure you still are Double Fine, you still are NXL, you're still Compulsion Games, whoever. But at the same time, there should be a level of quality that you are pushing. And so that level of quality, like Matt's got to be on all the other producers that he assigns to these studios to make sure that, they're getting what they need. You have to be like, hey, we like the direction you're taking with this game, but I don't think people are going to play it in this state, or we think you might need more time here, or what's the purpose of this game? Like, take Sea of Thieves, for example. Sea of Thieves today is a IP that has a strong player base, that if you decided to just jump in it now, there's all kinds of stuff for you to do, right? But Sea of Thieves, that's a very, very different game than was at launch. Like, it didn't need to take the game coming out for the gaming community to say, there's nothing to do here. You got 3 fetch quests, catch chickens, kill weird looking skeletons, and fight a kraken. Like, there's got to be more here than this, and that should have been said before the game launched. And to your point, though, yeah, someone should have looked at Halo Infinite before they showed it and said, we've been really touting this game as next gen. We've been really pushing this game as going to be why you need to get an Xbox Series X, and why you can't get this experience on our competition. Right. But this game is not looking visually like that. Where are you at with ray tracing? Oh yeah, that ain't gonna be ready by launch. Oh yeah. Well, where are you with the multiplayer? I mean, we kind of getting there. Yeah. But it launches in 3 months. What, you know what?
Well, and it's the thing, and I'm not.
Let's make another trailer.
Yeah.
And let's delay this to 2021. And if you did that, people would not have the feeling that they have about Halo Infinite right now, because we saw the gameplay.
Yeah.
Right. And we saw that it played like Halo, but it didn't look the way you expect a Halo game to look. A Halo game always seems to push visually the envelope, whenever it comes out. I can't think of a Halo game that I thought was ugly when when it was shown. first Halo Combat Evolved, I mean, that was next gen for that time. Halo 2 looked great for that time. Halo 3 looked great. Reach, great. ODST, you know, but even with Halo 4, Halo Guardians, those games look great. This visually didn't look great. And so when you see that, like, it should have been a pause and let's sit down and discuss what's going on here before that Xbox game showcase. So there's enough blame to go around, but mostly it falls on Miss Bonnie Ross.
No, I agree. I never said Bonnie Ross shouldn't take the most of it. And the biggest thing is, for me, I listened to the interview Phil Spencer just had on Drop Frames. I believe it was yesterday, and it was a really really good interview. And he talked about the relationship and how involved he is. And they actually talked to him about the whole Halo situation. And he owned up. He said, "Yo, we all at fault for this." He was like, I let Matt, really just talk about really run first party. He runs all of that stuff and I don't interfere. When he was talking about how acquisitions and stuff and like things that he sees like further out, Phil even said, I don't see games until they're like 2 or 3, like a year or like 2.5 years out, where he's talking to people on things that are like 5 to 6 years out. So, so Phil is definitely distanced himself a lot from what he used to be when he was head of studios, when it was in that position. So I agree with that. But the mark of a leader, and this is why I love Phil Spencer. He will be the first one to tell you that, even knowing this does fall predominantly on Bonnie Ross's head, he will tell you that a lack of leadership starting with him is the reason this happened, because all of this stuff could have been avoided if certain steps were taken. If Bonnie Ross would have did her job the way it needed to be done, everything you just said, SloMo, would be 100% factual, and it is true. And we wouldn't be in this situation. A lot of this stuff could have been snuffed out early. But what happens is, when one person doesn't do their job and there's no checks and balances for the people above them, like you said, Matt Booty is letting 343 run 343, then this is where the disconnect happens at. So yes, she becomes the major focus of the fault, but it also calls out leadership issues everywhere. We didn't just say there was leadership issues at 343. That people literally say this is a Microsoft thing too. Like, because how does this even get shown on a stage?
Yeah. And so
that's where everybody becomes a part of it. It still doesn't absolve her being a major part, because she runs the freaking studio. But that's why I love Phil Spencer the most, because he's not going to just bury one person under a bridge about this. He's going to sit up there and say this was a failure on all parts, and he will be the first one to tell you that he is just as much as blame as everyone else, even knowing Bonnie Ross is more to blame for all of this. And that's ultimately why Xbox, I feel, is going to be the best this generation they need to be, because they're going to have accountability. I think Halo is probably the best thing and the worst thing that happened to them at the beginning of a generation, because it's kind of showing them that the way they've been operating over the last generation, this is something that needs to change. And I think that's what's going to happen with the moves you're going to start seeing with 343 going forward.
All right, let me address something I got highlighted from Victor Allison. He said, my point is, as vice president of Xbox Game Studios, Bonnie was close in rank to Matt Booty. It would be hard to check up on Bonnie, seeing as she basically does the same job as him. As I would say, I understand that point, Victor, although I think a different kind of manager than Matt Booty would not feel that way at all. I think a different kind of manager would want to say, essentially, no, I definitely can't have you being my second in command here looking shaky. You need to, I need to be on you more than anyone else. And I think something, I'll liken this to parenting. When it comes to managing these studios, like when it comes to your kids, so, like not all of your kids are going to respond the same way to discipline, accountability, checking up on them, watching them. There's certain kids that that child doesn't need much. Like my daughter, I have to be careful with how I speak to my daughter because she immediately will just check out and start boohooing and crying all over the place. Whereas my son is just like, I can be a little bit harder on him because I know he can take it. And my other son, I gotta be a little bit, I have to discipline him and speak to him differently. I gotta pull him aside in order and talk to him one-on-one with no one else around to get him to really understand. So it's just, you have to do things differently for different people that you are in charge of. And when it comes to managing these studios, some of them, and I know they've acquired studios that didn't need micromanaging, didn't need a hands-on approach. You got guys out here, Double Fine don't need nobody telling them what to do.
Right.
In Exile, I mean, Brian Fargo ran Interplay. He doesn't need anyone telling him what to do. Obsidian doesn't need help. Ninja Theory doesn't need help.
Yeah, Gallagher doesn't need help.
No, Dale Gallagher, I mean, was running Crystal
I'm not
Dynamics.
Ubisoft, yeah, Crystal Dynamics, yeah.
He doesn't need help, but you got Compulsion Games who need some guidance. You got Undead Labs who need some guidance. I mean, Bethesda, you've already got it set up where Todd Howard and the rest of them are just going to continue on managing their other 8 studios. You don't even have to be all in on that, but it's just, there's certain studios where you don't need to treat them the same way you treat other studios. Like, is that fair? No, but then certain studios are hitting it out the park with quality, and certain studios are failing expectations. So when you fail expectations, you get a little bit more attention. You get my attention a little bit more.
Right.
And 3 Industries should have been Bonnie got it, because Bonnie ain't had it in a decade.
Yeah.
In a decade, she has not nailed Halo. So at no point should it have been, we're gonna let Bonnie do her thing. She gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
What she done that would lead you to believe that she should be trusted like that? I mean, yeah, in the past, sure, but in this iteration, in this stint, in this current role with 343, it hasn't been working. So, yeah,
yeah, Victor, like I said, me and Victor, we're on the same page. I think he was just thinking I was just assigning more of the blame to Phil than needed to be. And I just think being the leader or something, like me being a store manager, I hope my assistant, I treat her like I treat her like she's me. Even if she don't want to be me, I'm gonna treat her like she's me. You have to operate like I would operate, because if you ain't working like I'm working, why are you here? Because you are a reflection of me, and that's what I think. And especially because Phil Spencer put her in that position to run 343 and to build that company to what it is now, and he turned it over to Matt Booty, and now everything goes through there. So that's why I say it's a bunch of fault everywhere, but ultimately it falls on the head of the studio. And stuff is going to change due to that. And, I don't want to see anybody ever lose their job for stuff like this, but this is very unfortunate that we're still talking about this game when it's not coming out no time freaking soon.
Yeah, it is. And it's I would love to see some good news or hear some good news about Halo Infinite, but it just seems like that ain't in the cards right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, to kind of segue to our other topic about AMD. Now, I know there was guys like Cyberpunk in the chat that was ready to hear this, and look, and I know some of these other people in the chat are probably like, "Oh, they're talking about PC. Let me go check out." Hey, look, this is relevant
The console.
to consoles too. Like, don't get it twisted. This is relevant to consoles. I'm gonna tell you why it's relevant to consoles. What AMD showed us is relevant to consoles because they showed us features and software and things that they're doing with their, of course, PC hardware, but it's the same architecture that's in your PlayStation 5 and your Xbox Series X and S. And so knowing these things informs you of what the hardware that you're purchasing, that you pre-ordered, can do today and will be doing in the future. So this stuff is important. Don't just be like, whatever, PC, yada yada yada, RAM and SSD cards. I don't know. Like, don't do that. This stuff is important. And so what AMD showed is their big Navi RDNA 2. And what they showed was the 3 different GPUs. They showed the RX 6800, which is competing with NVIDIA's RTX 3070, and they showed the 6800 XT, and they showed the 6900 XT. Now, what I thought was very interesting, but what they did was very, very competitive pricing in regards to each slot that each card was competing against the NVIDIA cards. The 6800 is $80 more expensive than the 3070, but it's also, from what the specs are showing, we don't know yet because we need independent benchmark testing. I always say that because NVIDIA, was saying some things that weren't quite true when they showed their stuff back in September. But when it comes to that one, it looks like it's more powerful than the 3070. So cool. The 6800 XT is $50 cheaper than the 3080, but it looks like it might be on par with it. And then you got the 6900 XT, which is $500 cheaper than the 3090, but they tried to propose it as being more powerful. But if you saw the graphic, you saw all this other stuff that was enabled that allowed it to look like that. So some of these other features, like smart access memory, need a Ryzen CPU to work. Now, it wouldn't be surprising me at all if, like, through that somehow could be integrated into something that we may end up seeing with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles in the future. They also had Rage Mode, which was their auto overclocking of the GPU. And I don't know if that's going to be something that you'll see implemented, but I thought it was a really interesting presentation. It still wouldn't get me as a content creator to buy AMD GPU simply for the fact that I love the encoders that NVIDIA has that allow me to just go live on my PC without an additional capture card or whatever. So as a content creator, until AMD does something in that regard to kind of compete with NVIDIA, I'm still going to stick with NVIDIA until then. But what do you think, man?
Man, I'm just happy that they're making this a fight again. That's all I really care about, because NVIDIA has been running wild out here with these prices, and it looks like these new GPU prices are here to stay because AMD, because NVIDIA feels like they have a market share that they won't lose because of people like you. They want to stick with, and there's nothing wrong with that, because you're absolutely correct when it comes to the things that NVIDIA does that you like are things that are truly beneficial to you and the things that you like to do. And AMD, they made up a lot of headway. And granted, we don't have real life specs on this yet. We just know what they're telling us. But let's be for real, man. If these specs are if they're anywhere close to what they showed on those graphics, bro, we're talking about, for $579, double the RAM and 10 to 15% up.
Well, look, that's definitely there. If they put double the RAM up there, it's double the RAM, period. Now that's definitely there. What I'm talking about, like, where you have to wait for independent testing, is when they showed the graphic of what the frames per second was in like a dozen games, and they had it in comparison to each.
They're going after
NVIDIA
4K. Card. They're going after 4K even heavier than AMD than Nvidia is with putting all their putting all their GPUs being 16 gigs. Now, the only difference because the 6900 XT outperforms the 3090
with rage mode enabled.
With rage mode,
with
rage,
SAM enabled, yes, so that's like all that overclocking stuff, and they put that in the graphic, but then they put that in the graphic. Everyone sees that there, like that. How does it perform without that? And that smart access memory, you need to have a AMD CPU in order.
They showed that it's still, even before the smart access memory, still outperformed it in a lot of the games.
With 6900 XT, they showed.
No, they did. They did. If you go back and look at it, they literally the last graph they show just the raw numbers for the 6900 XT versus a 3090. But the only difference, the reason I still think the 3090 is a better, I think the 6900 XT is a better value, but I think a lot of people are going to stick with the 3090 because of the headroom it has in VRAM. Like that thing still, 24 gigs of VRAM? I mean, you're basically paying for the VRAM for that extra $500.
Well, real quick, let me address something in the chat that Sycamore said. And Sycamore says that I'm being a NVIDIA fanboy. And he says because NVIDIA has you because you have been using them for a long time. So far, you can't ignore what AMD is doing. I haven't been using them for a long time because I haven't been PC gaming for that long. And NVIDIA, I have NVIDIA because of more than just what the game performance is and what the prices are. Now, I'm not ignoring AMD. At no point did I say that what AMD showed was impressive. It was definitely impressive. What I am saying is that you can't take any of these companies, what they say when it comes to what performance will do from, for face value. They're trying to sell you something. So, of course, they're going to take the best case scenario out of every situation that they can. They're going to hide their weaknesses. Where was ray tracing, Sycamore? They didn't talk about hardware ray tracing. Like there's stuff like that when it's absent, you kind of wonder. That's probably not a strong point for them at this point in time compared to their competition. Now, me not being an NVIDIA fanboy, let me tell you why because people were coming at me on Twitter for talking about the fact that the 3070 isn't what they said it was. NVIDIA said that the 3070 was slightly faster than the fastest card on the market, what was fastest card on the market, their own 2080 Ti. It's not true. The majority of the games that were independently tested by other YouTubers and people who don't have a dog in the fight show that on most games, it either was the same frames per second or slightly slower. In very few cases was it actually faster than the 2080 Ti, which makes sense because it only has 8 gigs
of RAM versus 12. Yeah.
Completely not surprised whatsoever. But that's why you wait and you don't listen to exactly what they say. What they said about the 3080 being double what the 2080 was. It's not. It's like around 60% of what the 2080 is. But again, this is why you wait for independent testing. And that goes to both sides. It's not just NVIDIA. It's also AMD. And it's not just on PC gaming. It's on consoles as well. Like these companies are trying to sell you products. So they're going to tell you things that you want to hear. Microsoft's going to tell you they have the most powerful hardware out in the market for console gaming. Do I think it is? Sure. But I also want you to prove it. And so far, what have you proven?
Yeah.
See? PlayStation said, hey, we're going to have the fastest load times. Do I think they're going to have the fastest load times? Absolutely. But guess what I want you to still do, though? Prove it, because you're still a salesman and I'm still a consumer. and once I spend my money, you got me. So I still want you to prove to me what you're doing And what you're saying is true before I'm going to 1000% believe it. Now, what AMD is showing, I love this stuff because all they're doing in these pricing, which is great. And I'm glad that AMD is getting into the high end GPU market because all it's going to do is hold NVIDIA accountable and make NVIDIA do better for PC gamers in the future. But what I love it for gaming overall is what it means is that the minimum spec for PC gaming is going to go up.
It's
and when the minimum
yeah.
spec is going to go up, that means that everyone eats better. All these games are going to look better. They're going to be designed better. They're going to be designed with more versatility and imagination because these developers don't have to hold things back and that's not going to work on some old ass 970. So let me just go ahead and just not allow you to go into all the buildings in this city. So because that's too much memory and it's not going to be able to render, stuff like that. That's what pushing everything forward means. It means better for game design. And so that's what I care about. I don't care about NVIDIA. NVIDIA can I don't care. I don't have stock in NVIDIA. I don't care what they do. All I care about is their price is getting lower. And AMD punching them in the face like they did yesterday tells me prices that 3070 Ti when it comes out, it's going to be competitively priced. It will be like $600.
Really?
No higher.
You think it's going to be $600?
Yeah. Because that's 3070 Ti. Look, if it's true what the 6800 is, and it's
that
better,
means they're doubling the VRAM.
They gotta compete. It's
you ain't lying about that.
And you need to have that budget card be not just let your budget card get trounced by their budget card. You're going to have to make sure that you can have a card that's going to be competitive. So that 3070 Ti is going to be that. The 3080 Ti is going to make sure.
Oh, that's going to be $1,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, look.
I think that's going to be $1,000 because you got to think at the moment they release. Right. I agree with you in that one point because the moment NVIDIA comes out and does a 3070 Ti, that thing, $600. You pretty much might as well just take the 3080 and throw it out the window because at that point, the 3070 Ti will more than likely be a better card for the price. Mm-hmm. Then the 3080 Ti is going to come out and replace the 3080 because they're going to move that up in spec. And that thing's probably going to be, because that's the thing we always said, there's huge price point gaps in between what NVIDIA was releasing their stuff at. And I think like he was saying, I do agree with Sycamore to an extent. I don't think you're probably not the best case subject for this because you did just get into PC gaming, and he doesn't know that because he's newer. He probably doesn't know us like that. But SloMo, he just got into PC gaming this generation, like literally towards the end of the generation. So I don't really consider him one of those people that I think Sick is talking about. He's talking about there is a lot of people out there that are just blind faith loyalists to NVIDIA.
It's like that in every industry,
no matter exactly, and no
Apple
matter
versus Android is like that with Xbox versus PlayStation. It's like that in name anything, name any industry where there's two competitors for the consumer, and you're going to find fanboys who are fighting for one side or the other for whatever side that they particularly enjoy, and they hate the other side. It is what it is. Like literally name any industry, and you're going to find the same thing every single time. It's just the way it is, which is fine. But I'm not. I'm not that guy.
Well, it was Sycamore. He says 3080 Ti will come out and it will be $800. And I would agree with you on that. But this is what I think NVIDIA going to do.
Hope so.
I truly hope. I will take $800 all day. But I think NVIDIA is going to look at it like this. They're going to say 6900 XT, $1,000. 16 gigs of VRAM on par with our 39 our 3090. I think there's going to be a higher end 3090 that's going to come out because I think they're going to release a $2,000 graphics card. It's going to probably get 30. What was the rumors? 30 gigs of VRAM, 36 gigs of RAM. Wasn't that the rumor or something?
I don't think that was the rumor, but
it might be more than that. It might be more. Who knows? But that 2080 Ti, I mean the 3080 Ti, the rumors for that are like 24 gigs of VRAM. That's what the 3090 is now. They're basically gonna say we're gonna give you such a value at $1,000. Can you imagine a 3080 Ti being better than a 6900 XT for the same price that 6900 XT is? And then you put that in line with the fact that more people just trust NVIDIA when it comes to their driver support and the maturation of their tools over time. True. That's the reason people pick NVIDIA over AMD. AMD has finally, like, it's not like that right now when it comes to CPUs because AMD has matured their platform over the last 2 generations to make it feasible for them to be a market leader when it comes to that side of the experience.
Yeah, and AMD and Intel just sat on their hands and Intel sat on their hands. AMD to lap them. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think NVIDIA is that kind of. They don't have that kind of mentality to just rest on their laurels and they get lapped.
They ready to. I'm telling you, it's gonna be funny. I would love to see a 3080 Ti come out at $800, but I just truly believe they're gonna put 8 gigs or more. Well, they're gonna double the VRAM, and they're gonna put it at $1,000 and say our name brand at $1,000 is gonna be better than what you can put out because our car is gonna be better at $1,000. That's what I think they're gonna do. And guess what? The people that love NVIDIA are gonna look at it like, yo, their BIOS is better. They're gonna start going down a tier list. Even if you think they're wrong, until AMD proves that over the course of time they can have a better process of getting their tools better for people to be able to get into things like SloMo was talking about earlier, being able to get up and stream on a PC and not have to worry about NVIDIA and all these other things that NVIDIA has built into their GPUs to make it a lot easier to do these things. You got to remember, AMD, this is the first generation in a long time where gaming was the focus. They put focus on gaming this generation when it comes to their GPU line. AMD has always done that. So not AMD, NVIDIA has always done that. So it's going to be interesting. I just can't wait to see what happens next because guess what? This just means prices are going to be lower for all of us sooner or later.
Facts. And more competition from AMD towards NVIDIA means that it just benefits all of us. It benefits not just PC gamers, as I said before, it's going to benefit console gamers as well because it means that both sides are going to not pull an Intel and rest in their laurels. They're going to push harder to be better. And then especially on AMD's front, considering they're the supplier for PlayStation and Xbox, that means, like they're definitely going to benefit from that, having that same RDNA 2 architecture. So let's, I think that was a good topic. I think we may have, some of our console gamers may have fallen asleep. You have to wake up now because we're going to talk about some of these content creators and influencers getting PS5 sent to them. They're getting Xbox Series X and S's. They're getting refrigerators shaped like an Xbox Series X, which I think, by the way, is a great marketing tool. That was a great idea. High five to whoever said, hey, they
probably Cindy Walker again. You never know.
It probably was Cindy. They making memes about how our console looks. Say it look like a refrigerator. All right, well, let's make a refrigerator. Who knows how quality of a refrigerator is? Because, I just
thing powers up and makes Xbox sounds.
I've been dealing with what's quality and what's not, and what to look out for. But hey, look, I'll take an Xbox shaped refrigerator. It looked pretty big to me. So,
It looked like one of those high end refrigerators, man. Definitely. But SloMo, did you get one of those? Did you get an Xbox sent to you? What about a PlayStation?
sent to me?
Yeah, did they send you one?
First of all,
I thought you was on. I mean, you are this fond of Luca. You know, I thought you would have been like on the approved list.
I am. That's one, right? They don't even know who I am. Even if they did know who I was, I'm not getting sent anything. I can't even get a pre-order for a place. I'm trying to pay for one. I can't even find one to get.
Well, that's what Sycamore just said. He's like, personally, I don't like the fact that customers can't pre-order, but a zillion influencers are getting the consoles, and I'm not mad, but it just dilutes the excitement.
Yeah, I get that too. I mean, I'm not hating on anyone that got one. I mean, hey, congratulations. These people have big platforms. They worked hard to get to where they're at.
Yeah.
More power to you guys like Randolph Thor, Dealer Gaming, Colt Eastwood. I think I just watched the Mighty Keith got Xbox Series S sent to him. All these people. They got them sent to them, and even like the other channels, like people was all like, "Oh, Digital Foundry didn't get nothing from PlayStation." Hey, they got a PlayStation.
They got a PlayStation now.
Like people, you when you are a certain level, you're going to get stuff. You're going to get free stuff. I understand it. I get it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, just like when we get you to 1,000 subs, you gonna play Bugsnax. Stuff's gonna happen, man. You get what you get. You get what you. Hey, put that work in, bro. We gonna get what we want.
Hey, I kind of feel like the people who got the free consoles wanted the free consoles.
Speaking of the free, did you even watch the interview with Drop Frames with Phil Spencer? Did you see that interview?
No.
Okay, so the funny thing about that interview is at the very end, they asked him that exact question. They said, because you talk about how hard it was to get systems. He said, he said, you got celebrities out there. They call him, say, "Yo, get Phil Spencer on the phone. Tell him I need tell him I want a free Xbox." And Phil Spencer started laughing. It was like, bro, no lie. This is why I like Phil. He keeps it real. He's like, yo, for real. The amount of free stuff that rich people want is ridiculous. That's exactly what he said in that street. He's like, he said the amount of free stuff that rich people want is pretty ridiculous.
What's ironic is that Phil says that like he's not a rich person himself. Like he's not a part of that category. Like, come on, you're not a VP. You're not on the board of Microsoft and not filthy rich yourself. So
but listen, man, he got a product that people want for free. and he said when people asked me that question, I said, well, I donated he said, well, I donated your Xbox to the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm gonna send you an address to where you can buy your system yourself.
Hey, don't do that to me. Because I'm going to that Boys and Girls. I'm here for the Xbox. I'm here for the Xbox Series X.
No, but
right there. Yeah, that one right there. That's me. I'm gonna
but I like what he said. He said in that interview, he said, I understand it, I get it. He said, but I'm happy. He said, but we wanted to put the systems where we felt like they should have been. I think this was more the people that got these systems deserve them. I think part of it is because of, like you said, some people got them just because of the size of their channel. Like iJustine, and let's be for real, iJustine, people give her crap, but she's been a big Xbox component forever. Like people don't realize when she does her own videos, like if she shows videos of her like doing editing on her channel, if you look at her setup, she's always got something Xbox related on her desk. Like when it comes to like a controller, it's always something Xbox there because she's a starch Xbox supporter. They even talked about how why they sent the refrigerator to Snoop Dogg, because Snoop Dogg has always been one of those people that's always been about Xbox and stuff. So I think a lot of it has to do with they're trying to pay homage to the people that's always given them support. But then on top of that, you got people like Dealer and Rand and Coat that
I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you
Yo, go ahead. Where's the smoke? I want to hear that as well.
You feel like there were some people that should have got a console and didn't?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think they
you want to name them?
I can tell you. Well, I'll name. I think Kid Smooth should have got. I think Kid Smooth should have got a system. But the thing is, and I told Kid Smooth this too. I was like, but I think his antics on Twitter kind of took him out of the running for it. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people out there that deserve, especially and especially looking back at like some of the people that did get them. Like shout out to the Ashton Luca. I was talking to her earlier today, and we were looking at some of the people that got these systems, and I'm like, bro, your channel is super small. You either know somebody at Microsoft, and that's how you got this system. Because I really don't understand what is Xbox getting out of it by giving you this system. So there's some people out there that I'm like, how did you get a system? But another person that I think should have got one was Zalker. I think Zalker does an amazing job in his videos. He's on the biggest podcast ever when it comes to Xbox right now, when it comes to RDX. I think he's one of those people that I felt like definitely deserved to get one because of the work he puts in. But overall, all of these people that if you truly want something, you got to put the work in. That's the one thing people don't realize. And the one thing that kind of disappointed me the most about what happened yesterday, because I was super happy for the people that did get them, are the people that got upset that they didn't get something. Like, I understand like how Smooth felt and stuff about it, because he does a lot of pondering back and forth with Xbox. But like I even told him, I said, that's not the way, bro. You gotta be humble and just keep moving forward, because sooner or later, if you deserve it, you're going to get it. And then you got other people out there that want to change the whole persona of their channels and be something that they're not. Most people got to realize if you can't change who you are, because the people that watch you for the person that you are the entire time. The moment you start changing is when people stop watching you. So you got to make a decision early. That's why I take a very balanced approach when it comes to all this stuff. That's because that's how I am in real life. I don't look at all this stuff like who's going to do this and who's going to do that. Like, which one do I prefer more and all this other crazy stuff. I just like games. And I'm going to talk about it like I just like games. I prefer one platform or another, but I'm not going to let one platform tell me that I can't like another thing. And I think a lot of people that watch my channel really get that from me, and that's why they support me. But when you build your platform around a lot of hate and a lot of back and forth and arguments and discussions, people don't realize that these companies, they watch your stuff. I literally talk to like people that says, yo, Xbox literally talks about all of these different channels. I don't know what PlayStation does, because we don't really have that type of relationship inside the community when it comes to like the higher end executives at PlayStation like we do with Xbox. But the people I talk to that talk to these developers and they talk to these executives at Xbox, they will tell you like, bro, you'd be surprised how many of these channels they look at, because they want to know what the community is thinking. And they know that YouTube and Twitter are some of the best places to basically gauge what your hardcore fan base is. And if you're acting a fool, you're not going to get anything. You got to really think about the things you put out there in order to appeal to the brand that these people want you to appeal to. But SloMo, what do you think about all this, man? Because I know you took a back seat and you probably were laughing and snarking at a lot of people's comments and stuff. I never really got a chance to hear what you thought about all of it.
I thought yesterday was kind of humorous. I mean, and me being as the guy that doesn't even have 1,000 subs, so of course, like myself, I'm not in the running for anything. Right, but I'm looking at other people who they're being themselves and they enjoy the brand that they have, the content that they provide, and they're proud of it. and then they see other people get free consoles, and you could say, oh, well, that they got a free this person got a free console because they're a corporate slave for this corporation, or this person got it because they shill, or this person got it because they got influence or they know somebody, yada yada yada, or this person got it because of race, whatever. I don't think it's any of those things per se, but I don't think it matters. You have your content. And I know this is kind of like we're really talking a narrow view here, because the majority of people here on content that are listening to this aren't content creators.
Right.
But if you are a content creator, or you plan to be a content creator at some point, think about what you want your brand to be, and think about what it would take for you to make your brand what it would need to be to get free swag, or to get stuff like that, or get the attention of a particular corporation. If that's not what you want to do, then don't do that. Like, be happy with what you got, be proud of what you built, and be proud of where you're at. That you don't, because doing things that are outside of your character and doing things that you're not happy with are going to be, in the long term, yeah, maybe you get a free PlayStation 5 or a free Xbox Series X. But outside of those times, you're doing content that's not you. It's fraud, and it's not about. So, like, don't even worry about that. You keep doing you. You keep doing the things that you do the way you do them, and enjoy it. There are people out there on Twitter trolling all day long, and they don't expect to get anything from these corporations, and they're not going to get anything from these corporations. But they have that understanding well before they started. I'm not getting that from my ideas. And they may have big platforms, but they still be like, I know they're not going to send me anything, but I'm all right with that because I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. And that's all I would say. Go ahead and have fun doing what you're doing. Like, I could, multiple times I've thought about branding my channel after a particular game that I may have enjoyed a little bit. So I'm like, hey, look, I could probably, get into this, ride this wave of like this particular game, and so on and so forth. But that's not me. I like the games I like. I will talk about the games I like to talk about. I will do content on the stuff that I enjoy. But if I'm not doing content on it, it's because I don't like it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to do a video on it. I'm not going to cap for no games or corporations that I don't care about. You don't see me talking about no Nintendo on my platform. The only time I've ever made a video about Nintendo was about the 2 games that I enjoyed on my Nintendo Switch. And you ain't seen no videos about any Nintendo games since then, because I don't play my Nintendo Switch. And see, like, and that's just, I'm not like bragging, but that's who I am. I can't do anything but be me. And I'm not going to be like, team green, team blue, screw this platform. Forget all that. I'm not about that. And it's, and I'm fine with where I'm at with it, because I know that everything I'm doing is authentic, and I enjoy what I do. And so for everyone else, coming from the guy with 680 whatever subs, and if you're out there and you're upset about not getting something, then just think about what it would take to get that, and do you want to be that person? Because if you don't, then there's nothing to worry about. You just keep doing you.
Yeah, I just look, being a person that works in retail and has been given PlayStations and Xboxes, trust me, these companies want to give you stuff. They, like, anybody, like, no company wants to not support the people that support them. But if you're not giving them what they want, like, it's not even about the viewers, it's more of the experience. It's like working in retail. My job is basically to let people know, like, what's best for them. and they give me the stuff for the most part to be able to articulate that stuff to them and say, yo, this is probably the best thing for you because of this, and based on the experiences that you're telling me about, this is what I think you should go with. And that is very valuable to a lot of these companies. But when you go look at, and that's just on the retail front, you go to like YouTube and like go to Rand. Rand is one, like I tell everybody, my favorite content creator when it comes to Xbox. I feel like of all of the content creators, he's the one that a lot of people respect on, no matter where you are. You could be Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, you could be anything. Maybe not Switch, because he tells people outright he hates Nintendo. But when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox, people pretty much respect his opinion all the way across the board. And he has such a thought process when he goes about talking about these different things. He has a huge Xbox channel, and it's like, why wouldn't we? He has PlayStation people that watches his channel, so why wouldn't Xbox send him a system to basically tell all of those PlayStation people that watch his channel to try to convince them, like, yo, maybe Xbox isn't as bad as we thought it was? Why do you think they send somebody like Neo GameSpark a Xbox? He's more neutral than anything, but there's a lot of people that don't care about none of this console war stuff that watches his channel. And guess what?
And people really respect Neo's opinion,
and they really respect his opinion.
A platform side respects his opinion, but the other side, hates his guts. It's like, across the board, people know and respect his opinion. So of course, that's someone that you want to kind of get your hardware in his hands and let him give his honest assessment of what it is, so that people will then, because like you could, as I was saying before about like AMD and NVIDIA and all, and like everyone's talking about what their product is going to do for you, and how I don't trust that because you have a product to sell.
Right.
But when you give it to someone who's independent, and I know there's some people who have the mindset, as soon as someone gets something free, I immediately disregard everything that they say. And I understand that mindset, because there's some people out here that would just say whatever for free swag or money. I get that. But then there are also the majority of people still respect that person's opinion. And there's a particular reason why they got something, because they got influence over a large number of people. So if someone gets something for free and people respect what they got to say, and they co-sign what you say about your product, it holds more weight for what your product can do than you just out here saying, hey, we're the best. But then no one else is co-signing it, they don't mean nothing. So,
this is a fun industry to be a part of, man. It's fun to talk about all of the stuff that's happening. It's fun to talk about what Xbox is doing and what PlayStation is doing. And it's even fun talking about what Xbox needs to do better to give us the experiences that we always wanted from them that we didn't get throughout this generation. But it still doesn't change the fact that there's always a way of doing it. And the one thing I will say is, if you're respectful and you are, you give constructive criticism without trying to bash and make the platform look terrible, they will look at you and say, yo, we're people just like everyone else. And that's what I enjoy the most, man. I'm just happy for the people that got them, because I feel like the people that did get them truly deserved them. At least the ones that I know. But there are some people I wish would have got them, but I understand why some people didn't get it. But that should just tell you, like, listen, when it comes to what you want to do, you are what you put out there. And if you want to be seen in a certain light, you need to let that be shown out there, because trust me, that's the only way you're going to get ahead.
But then like, if that's not you and you don't feel comfortable doing that,
don't do it.
Then don't do it. But
that's what BG said.
But just know,
BG
but just know, and shout out to BG. Like I watch Weapon Wheel. I think I enjoy BG's content, and he's a damn good Roll Company player. I like playing Roll Company with him. But like, what he said was that, he's in his own lane and he's cool with that, and that's what if you are fine with where your content is, and you know that you're not going to get anything from said corporations for that. I mean, like, look,
you should never go into it wanting something
but
anyway.
look, BG gets free Avid Media stuff, so I don't want to hear anything from BG anyway. It's like he gets,
I mean, they sponsor his channel pretty much at this point.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a great endorsement. So, like, this is what happens when you build a platform. You get things. It is what it is. But let's go ahead and wrap up, man, because I think we getting a little long.
Killed it. Yeah, just don't. The biggest thing is, the last thing I'll say is, when it comes to stuff like this, don't ask for it. Just work hard. It's going to happen if it's going to happen. It's just like asking somebody to mod you. Like with somebody, if somebody in the chat asks SloMo, yo, SloMo, why ain't a mod? He gonna be like, well, who the hell are you? Why am I gonna give you a mod? Because it's like, the people that get mod are the people that you just looks like, let me make this person a mod, because they're always here. They're always supporting, outside of people that we know that are friends and stuff that we make mods, but when it comes to random people, we don't know who you are. So why would we just give you something? So that's what you kind of need to think about when it comes to how these different platforms and how these influencers are looked at. They put the work in, and if you put the work in, things will work out for you in the end.
Awesome. I agree. And thank you, One Bad Mother says, great show, friends. Been listening while cleaning. You two have great chemistry. Hey, you know what? I agree. We do have great chemistry. Outside of the times where Forte can't say words correctly, and we didn't have that today. It's progress. We making progress here, man. But like, go ahead and let everyone know what you got planned for the rest of the week, the weekend, and what we have to look forward to from Game of Forte.
Yeah, man. First of all, you already know how I feel about you, man. You're my brother in ours when it comes to this type of stuff.
Look, we won't need none of this wishy-washy stuff right now, man.
It ain't wishy-washy. You mean this love triangle that everybody thinks that we got going on?
Can you just get back to the point? Here we go, all right, man.
Listen, man. It's always great being here with you, man, because you are one of the people that I look up to the most, because you keep me on track. We go back and forth a lot, but ultimately I respect everything that you do, and I truly appreciate everything that you do inside this community. So I love being here with you. But outside of that, Gaming Forte, where it is: Xbox Live, YouTube, Twitter. Nautica's still on PlayStation because PlayStation ain't gonna steal all my stuff. So I'm not gonna change it over there until I know that's safe. But DPS podcast will be on my channel next week. So if you enjoyed this show, make sure you sub to the channel over there so you can continue the conversation on my channel next week. I got a couple of different videos coming out. I got a video about what Phil Spencer talked about today coming out tomorrow. We're going to be talking about all the different things going on with the Xbox. My unboxing video for the PlayStation controller and the accessories are going to be coming out tomorrow. So if you want to hear my impressions of what the controller feels like, check it out on the channel tomorrow. But outside of that, man, I'm just super excited for these systems to just come out at this point so we can stop talking about hardware and specs and start playing games.
Facts. Myself, also, I want to just say, hey, look, Forte, I appreciate you, bro. I know I give you a hard time all the time, and
every day.
It's all love, man. For myself, I have about 3 videos I'm working on that should be out fairly recently. I think this week I've had been just motivated to do more content, and so you've seen probably more videos from me this week than in previous weeks. Maybe I'm just kind of finally getting my wind back, because there was a little while it was like I was just doing a couple of videos a week, but definitely got a video about AMD, that their presentation from yesterday. I got a video out on that. That's just really going to be kind of like what, for those who don't quite get all the PC talk, a way of explaining it, that everyone is on the same page. I also got a video I'm gonna do, and this is something I thought of today, seeing some of these changes from Anthem, about seeing that they're finally doing some things that all looter shooters do, but these are the things that people wanted from Anthem. And so I'm gonna have a video out about that, as well as a quite a different take on some of those Phil Spencer comments from last Monday. I have that video might be out tomorrow. Actually, I got a different take of what might be in store for Xbox in the future, so look out for that. I'm also going to probably go live at some point this weekend playing games. I don't know what I'm gonna play. It might be Mass Effect 3, it might be Road Company. It might be I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to go live and play something. It might be Among Us. We got to do Among Us again because Among Us is just way too much fun. But I do appreciate everybody that came through today. Literally all you guys are awesome. I love you guys. And make sure if you haven't set up the Gaming Forte's channel that you do so immediately. His information, his Twitter and YouTube channel is in the description of the podcast. And we out.
Peace. Have a good night, guys.